Hey there, I have my notes today and I have thought through everything that we've done for preschool in the last 3 years and everything that I want to do going forward. So this is me presenting to you my dream preschool curriculum. Even though it's not just one single curriculum, this is what I plan on doing going forward. And if you have hung around this channel for any length of time, you know, first of all, that my baby is having a great time in the background. And second of all, that I talk a lot about preschool. So let's dive in. I'm not saying by presenting this that this is what everyone else should do or this is the best way to do preschool, but I am saying this is what I have found helpful. And so if there's anyone asking me for tips or ideas for preschool, this is what they're going to hear. And if you're one of those people who has asked me for tips and ideas, then this is what you have coming your way. Okay, the first thing I would say is that I would divide preschool into 2 years. I know there's kind of this preschool and kindergarten concept, and in homeschooling, there's often this idea that preschool is kind of something you can skip altogether. I think it's really valuable. So for me, I actually want to invest a lot of time and thoughtfulness into how I'm running my days with my preschoolers, because we're learning a lot of character traits. We're learning focusing and attention skills. We're learning basic truths, and we're learning a lot of social skills. So there's so much going on in these years that I feel like without a lot of intentionality for me, myself, I let a lot of things slide by. And so this is what I have found super helpful so far. So the first year of preschool, I would start around the age of 3. I know there are people who start preschool younger. They have 2-year-olds. When I first started, I did it with my son who was just turning 3. So we did it about 2 months before he turned 3. And I think that was a little bit young for him. But that being said, this first year of preschool, I would start around 3, 4. And then the second year of preschool, I would do around 4, 5 years of age. Then launch my child into kindergarten as they're turning 6 years old. That would be my ideal situation. I know not every child is the same. This is just what I've noticed works so well so far with my kids. So the first year, this would be the plan, and then I'll share with you the second year plan. The first year, I would have a spine or a core curriculum, a core guide plan for going through the year. And for that, I would use a few things. For the overall schedule, I would use playing preschool year 1 from the busy toddler. I feel like this year 1 is best suited for this age. It's suited for the 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds, the younger side of preschool. And so I would use that, but I would adjust some of the book selections. So I love playing preschool. I have reviews about it on this channel, and I have a lot of information about it. So if you're curious as to what that is, go ahead and check out those videos. I'll link them in the description box below. But I love the activities. I love the concepts. I love the themes. Some of the book selections are not my favorites. I'm a little picky when it comes to books, I'm afraid, which can be a good thing and a bad thing. So I plan on coming out with a video of the books we've actually used with this program, because someone did ask me that. What did you actually use when you went through Playing Preschool year 1? So I will plan on putting that out. If I haven't yet, by the time this video airs, I'll put that out soon. I would just adjust a few of those book selections, and I would add on some things. So I would add in the books from Sunlight Curriculum Core P, and some of them from Sunlight Curriculum Core T. Not all of them from Core T, because that has a lot of books that are actually at a higher level, some chapter books, some more informational text, some longer reads that I just wouldn't use with this age group. And so I would just take the book selections from Sunlight, and then I would add in some units. So there is a program called Purely Preschool, and they have units all about me, some about different seasons and that kind of stuff. And I felt like that was kind of lacking in the Playing Preschool year 1 program, was some units just focusing on like, let's memorize some information about our address and our family, and present our family to people. And so we have the Purely Preschool all about me. And then I would just add that in throughout the year, and maybe some other units as well. Also, for Bible for this first year of preschool, I would do something with Bible verse songs. So, memorizing the Bible by using songs. There are so many different options for this out there. There is Seeds Family Worship, which we love. There's Sing the Word, which is a family run business. There is Songs for Southlings by Dana Dirksen, included in the Gentle and the Classical, all kinds of things. But the Sunlight Curriculum Core T includes Bible verses to memorize throughout the year. Core P does not. Okay, another thing I prefer to do with preschool is to actually have subjects, like content subjects, like math and science and Bible and all of these things. And so I'm going to go through for you my selections for those kinds of things. For math, I would use Preschool Math at Home, and then also add in a lot of counting. I use the book Usborne, Big Book of Things to Spot, because it's very colorful, it's very engaging. You're looking for hidden objects, and so the counting is not as repetitive as it is just if you're sitting down and saying, count this number of things, count this number of things. With my sons, I found that Usborne Big Book of Things to Spot was very helpful as well, with just getting them to organize their thoughts and to sequence things. So choosing where to start to count something out, and that's a really big skill at this age. I probably would try to finish Preschool Math at Home this first year. I have actually not gone through the entire book because we found that there's a lot of review that happens in the next level of this program, and so we just often will skip ahead and start using that. I've heard of other people doing that as well. For phonics, I would use Logic of English, Doodling Dragons songs. I would not start a formal phonics program with Logic of English at this point. I think I would miss out on so much at this age that just can't be grasped until a little bit older. But I would practice phonics with flashcards. So we have a program called Elemental Phonics, and I would use the creator of that program, JDA's, games and things that she does with her flashcards, and just do flashcard games and teaching basic phonics to my child with the Doodling Dragons songs. And then have lots of reading together. And this is a key part of actually phonics and reading development, is reading together. It helps with the flow of words, it helps with rhyming, and just understanding how language works, and understanding that the concept that there are words written on a page, that those are actually words. And yeah, there's a lot that reading helps with. And then for science, I would use the Berenstain Bears Big Book of Science and Nature, which is included in the Sunlight Curriculum preschool packages. And I would also just do nature walks. At this age, there's not a lot of formal science learning that I think I would want to happen with my kids. That kind of just there's a natural curiosity, and the more technical things I would save for later, and just explain their questions right now, like explain to them what this thing is in nature, and just observe together and be curious about things. I'm not saying that I don't use books. I do have multiple books that I like to use for early science, and I have a video flip through of all of those books that you can check out. But I just wouldn't have like formal experiments or that kind of thing. It'd be more of like a gentle approach to science. For Bible, my family, we are Christians, and so I would prioritize having a Bible reading time, and I would use a children's Bible, a very simple one. We have some favorites in our home, and I have a video coming out where I open and compare for you all of these different children's Bibles and tell you about the features of them and all of that. So if you're looking for a children's Bible, check out that video. But I would also use a program called Play Through the Bible. This is available for free online through a blog. Thank you to the creator of this. It's really a fun idea, where you are reading a Bible story each week, and then you're doing lots of activities with that. It's kind of like having Sunday school at home. And so it's just a really fun, interactive way to get familiar with the stories and build enthusiasm in that area. So I would just use that blog. There is a book available in print form, and there's also, I think, a PDF copy or ebook Kindle copy that you can get as well if you're interested in that. I will have all of these resources linked in the description box below, so they're easy for you to find. And then I would, in addition to the children's Bible and Play Through the Bible, I would also do a devotional book. So we have the devotion book, 1 Year Devotions for Preschoolers, 1 Year Preschool Devotion. Anyway, will also be linked below. And we've enjoyed that because the text is really simple to understand, and it has a Bible verse every day and a short little prayer. And so it's really easy to include in our daily life. For handwriting, what I would do at this age is I would do a lot of Play-Doh. I have heard and seen that Play-Doh really helps with developing the muscles in your hands that are used for writing. And I don't often think of the muscles in my hands when I'm writing, but it's true, they have to be developed well. And so I would use Play-Doh as like a precursor to handwriting, but then also for handwriting or penmanship, I would use the Scholastic Getting Ready for Pre-K Jumbo Workbook. This book has a lot of tracing in it. There are mazes and tracing. So you're doing all kinds of manipulating with your pen or pencil, and you're also learning how to correctly grasp the pen or pencil. And I think that is a perfect skill for this age to really focus on for handwriting later on. It also has letters in there. So there's letters and numbers. For fine motor skills, which are related to this handwriting, I would use, in addition to playing Preschool Year 1, because that includes a ton, I would use the Kumon workbooks. There are so many Kumon workbooks that are excellent. I have a video on our preferred workbooks for preschool, and you can check that out as well to look inside of these, but I would use that for fine motor skills. So then for language, so in addition to having English in our home, we also have Portuguese, and it is one of our languages spoken in our home, and I really want to focus on that also in our daily routine. And so for that, at this age, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, just like with English, what I would focus on doing with Portuguese is to have new vocabulary words that we're introducing, maybe through flashcards, something like that, but books and songs. Books are a great source for vocabulary, and songs are as well, but just getting to be even more familiar and comfortable with that language. If you don't have another language spoken in your home besides English, this for you would probably look something like, including some songs in another language that you eventually want to be teaching your children. I also would use the Usborne First 1,000 Words series. So we have Usborne First 1,000 Words in English, but we also have it in Portuguese. And so just choosing to read that book in Portuguese and go over the vocabulary together and do some Find It, I Spy activities is just really fun at this age, and I think is just a gentle way of approaching language in preschool. So that would be the first year. And as time goes on, I'll probably find other things. I'll be like, yeah, and I'll include this too. But anyway, this is my basic outline of what I want to keep doing going forward, what I found has worked for our family. So year 2, I would do for ages, like I said, 3 to 5, somewhere in there, depending on the birth dates of the children. But it would definitely be the older side of preschool. So for this, I would have several spines. I would do the second year playing preschool, of course. The fine motor skills in there, everything great. Gentle and classical preschool, that would be the other spine. So the memory work in gentle and classical is awesome. And I feel like in the preschool years, learning to memorize things is what we do. We teach little rhymes, we teach all kinds of things that kids memorize. And I'm so surprised often by how quickly my boys memorize things. I would think it would be the other way around, where it's like, okay, I have to keep reminding them. And that is true. We do a lot of repetition, but there is a lot of great memory work. And so the Gentle and the Classical preschool program is perfect for this age. I have tried it with like a 2-3-year-old. It wasn't quite for that age in my family's experience. It is for an older preschooler, I feel like. And so I would use it at this point in preschool and do everything. So when my family has gone through this program in the past, we actually just use bits and pieces. We started out trying to use most of the things besides the handicrafts, and then just kind of petered off because we were in the middle of a major move. We were moving back to Asia, and I didn't bring all the materials with me, and so I would have had to reprint everything. So what we decided to do is we're just gonna kind of go light on this and just do some songs and some art and music studies. And this coming year, we are going to actually be using the full program again and trying it all out. I feel like it's an injustice in some ways to a curriculum to not use everything that is included, because it's built to work together that way. I'm not saying we always have to do that. We can have some freedom and flexibility, but for this type of thing, I felt like it was an injustice to the program that we didn't finish it fully. So we're going to go back, and I'm really looking forward to that. As I've been prepping things, I have been really excited with what I have seen, and just to realize like, oh yeah, I remember this part and that part, and oh, this will be really fun. This is a new thing to experience. And so just including that in the second year of preschool as like a spine, a core. Okay, for math, I would use kindergarten math with confidence. So I've heard from multiple different people that kindergarten math with confidence is actually really easy to implement in preschool because it has such great building blocks. The understanding that is built is phenomenal. The concepts are not easy, but they are taught so well that it seems easy in many ways. So I would use kindergarten math with confidence in this year of preschool rather than waiting until kindergarten. I would also use Kumon's logic workbook. So they have logic, spatial reasoning, and differentiation that I would use as part of math because I feel like those are such great reasoning skills that can be taught at this age. In addition to those, I would love to just use some manipulative sets. Things like tanagrams, puzzle blocks, teddy bears, patterns, all of those things are really helpful for the preschool years. I do have a video about math resources. I'll link in the description box below to help you think through maybe some objectives that you should have for preschool math. And then for phonics, I would use the full program of Logic of English Foundations Level A, possibly getting into Foundations Level B. I haven't had experience with that one yet, so that's something I'd have to put off saying for sure. But I would add some things to that phonics. I would do some word family worksheets, just fluency worksheets where we're reading through something, some Bob workbooks, possibly using the Good and the Beautiful language arts from kindergarten, which is available for free on their website as a download. Possibly using that. I don't have experience with that yet. Or something like elemental phonics, where we're just going through and reading a ton, practicing that skill, because Logic of English does so well explaining how language works and how sounds are formed and how to spell words and how to like segment them and blend them, and having a lot of fun with English and phonics and just handwriting and everything. But one of the weaknesses in my experience is just needing the repetition of reading for the student to practice blending and CVC words and all of that continually, like every single day, is, I feel like, really important. And some people don't teach phonics in preschool. I like it at this age because my kids so far have been really naturally interested in learning how to read. And also because it isn't a huge burden. I don't think it's detrimental to them. I actually did a project on this in college, and my professor wanted us to say it was not great for young kids. And I remember feeling very pressured to say that, but found that the evidence was contrary to that. And so I was like, well, I'm going to present this and let everyone decide for themselves. But yes, there is a big debate out there about the efficacy and the benefit of teaching kids this young to read. I think it's okay. So that's why I approach preschool this way. Handwriting would be from the Logic of English, but also I would just add in the Scholastic Jumbo Pre-K workbook. So there's a Getting Ready for Pre-K workbook I would do in the first year of preschool, and then there is a Pre-K workbook I would do in the second year of preschool. And that has a ton of different copying and tracing activities, so great penmanship skills. Then for Bible, we would use, again, a children's Bible. And I would add in some things. I would add in, and this depends per family, but for our family, what we would use, it would be our 24 family ways, which just goes through a bunch of different characteristics that we want to see present in our family, and has some coloring pages available for free online. This is from Sally and Clay Clarkson. Sorry, I kind of jumbled up all the information there, but a lot of it is available for free online. Some memory verses, coloring pages, poster, those kind of things. But the actual book itself you have to purchase. So I would use that just for developing in my kids a strong awareness of, this is what we value in our family. This is how we behave. This is how we act toward each other. This is our character. And then from the gentle and the classical, the Bible memory work, the songs, the memory statements, the hygiene and manners statements, some of those are related to Bible and to the Christian life, and so I would use those. I will also teach my children the Lord's Prayer, memorizing that prayer. Bible memorization also is possible at this young age in preschool. We use Bible verse songs, and they stick in your head. They're amazing ways to memorize scripture. They're also really beautiful. And then finally, for Bible, using the Little Pilgrim's Progress book. This is it's not the Bible, but it is a Christian resource, and it's a really good story that my sons have begged me to read again and again and again. We have both the first book and the second book, and they are both wonderful. For art and music, we have used the Gentle and the Classical's art and music pack, and we really enjoyed that. I highly recommend it. My plan going forward is to continue to use that, especially for Peter and the Wolf and the storyboard that goes with that. But in addition to that, we have a book of ABCs that has classical paintings with it, and we have some books by James Mayhew about Katie. She goes to an art museum and sees a lot of different paintings. And we have some postcards that have classical paintings on them that we will just put on our fridge and discuss as a family and look at repeatedly. For the music part of this, we have the Story Orchestra books. These are really fun. You hear snippets of the various songs, and you get the storyline of the opera or the piece. Then we also have classical kids music series, and we listen to those on repeat in my family. My kids love the stories and the music. It's a great exposure to the composers as well as some of their most famous pieces. For science, I would focus on life science, natural science, zoology, botany, all of that stuff, because I would just read a whole bunch of books. At this point, we haven't tried programs like Nature 1, Nature 2 from the Gentle and the Classical. I don't know if I will try those. I haven't decided yet. Maybe that program will be what we use, but there are just a lot of books floating around there, some of them used in those programs that I mentioned, that are just really good for this age range. And so I have those included in my other video of science books as well, but I would include books like Slow Down and Be Here Now, books by Diana Hutz Aston, Kate Messner books. Those are famous in homeschooling communities. A beautiful book of animal photos. Any book that just has beautiful animal photos. The DK Animal Kingdom book. Round and Round Goes Mother Nature. And the Magic School Bus Readers. We have really enjoyed those for this age, and my son actually will pick these up and ask me to read them again and again and again, because there's just so much natural curiosity in how the world works, and I think this is a perfect focus for this preschool year for science and just understanding the world. In the second year of preschool, I would also include a lot of games. I feel like this age is so perfect for learning social skills that are associated with games, like taking turns and being fair and being honest, and finishing something that you start, and all of those things. I feel like it would be really beneficial to just focus on a lot of games. And so I have a video in the works where I'm just sharing different games, board games and card games, that we have found to actually fit this age where they can actually play them, because that can be a tricky thing, figuring out which games are appropriate for this age. Hey. Hi. I almost missed this. Social development. So this is really important for preschool and all young ages. We use Elephant and Piggy for just developing social awareness and emotional awareness. So we also use books by Sherry J. Miners, and these teach our kids about following rules, sharing and taking turns, respecting and taking care of things. So responsibility, cooling down, talking through things. Also for preschool, teaching body safety, and just at this age, they don't quite know what sexuality is. So just teaching them safety about their private parts and about pornography. Not necessarily teaching them certain words like pornography, but just teaching them through books like Good Pictures, Bad Pictures Junior, Who Has What, all about girls' bodies and boys' bodies, and several other books about their bodies and how they work and how to take care of them and keep them safe and healthy. I have a video of book recommendations about that. Then using wordless picture books for narration. So narration is an important skill to develop. It's the ability to summarize, and it's foundational to a lot of other skills that come later in life, later in academics. It's also great for just building storytelling and creativity. And so we use wordless picture books for that. Again, I have a video all about this. Man, I feel like I have a video about everything. So if you want more about any of these topics, just look on my channel. I probably have a video about it. I love books and I love homeschooling and just education in general. So overall, books and language arts and just reading together. I would include, of course, the books from Plain Preschool Year 1 and the Gentle and Classical Preschool, but there are just so many other books, so many other good books. I'm planning on making a list of just all of the books that I really highly have enjoyed for not kindergarten, preschool. This is a preschool video. So all the books that we have enjoyed so much for preschool. At this point, I just plan on writing down that list, not making a video about it. But if you think a video would be helpful at some point, let me know in the comments. But I will include a link when I get that list finished. I'll include that link below in the description box. Probably the most important thing about preschool is literature. Just reading, exposing children to language and to how it works and to the beauty of stories is pivotal to the preschool years. I do have some books sitting beside me that I do want to show you for the purpose of just illustrating some examples. For example, Peter Rabbit, Go Dog Go, some books by Patricia Polacco, The Bee Tree, Make Way for Ducklings by Robert McCloskey, and some others by him. Things People Do, What Do People Do All Day by Richard Scarry, and several other books of his. My boys love Richard Scarry. And then just reading some of the classic things for preschool and young ages, Aesop's Fables, Mother Goose Rhymes, and fairy tales. And those are just some examples of some of our favorite book editions of those types of tales. Definitely within the read alouds, I would include categories of building connection between parent and child. Books like The Runaway Bunny and I'll Love You Forever. Books like that where you're talking about the relationship and love between a parent and a child. Okay, finally, for the last year of preschool, language. So in our case, Portuguese and English, I would use a preschool morning binder. And I have plans. I'm working on creating a Portuguese preschool morning binder. Some people have asked me if I know of any Portuguese curriculum for teaching Portuguese or just for Portuguese for homeschool. And the thing is, I haven't really found much. So I'm creating it because we need it as well. So if you're interested in that, make sure to comment below and I'll make sure to get back to you when that's ready. I will also have videos coming out about that when it is ready. So make sure you subscribe and make sure you have on all notifications so that you do get notified when that comes out. And that is all that I have for these 2 years of preschool. In some ways it feels like a lot. In other ways it feels like a little bit. Probably add things to it in the future, but this is at least the minimum of what I plan on continuing to do. So yeah, hope this video is helpful. Let me know by giving a thumbs up and commenting below, and I will chat with you guys soon. In the meantime, check out my other preschool videos here. Love you guys. Ciao.